Right, we should be up and running right now. Let's have a look at the stream. See if we can get it up on our phone. Thank you for the ads. Let's see here. Let's see. See if we can. Yeah, right, we are good. We are live. Okay, cool. So I'll just wait for everything to go through. You know, sometimes it updates on Twitter a little bit and the notifications need to come through for, you know, Kaspa and not Kaspa, but for Twitter and people to get around, I guess, on the live streaming space. And you know, YouTube's not essentially the best place for live streaming, but I like the fact that it's all collated into one thing, so you can watch my videos and you can quickly go over to, you know, my live stream if you want to, if I'm live, and yeah, stuff like that. So that's normally why we're going to be live streaming on YouTube. So I'll just wait a little bit, see if we get some people in here. Lately, we've been doing actually pretty good on the live streams. We've been doing maybe one or two a week, but I want to start doing them more frequently. Just need to really plan out what topics we're going to cover. But this is obviously looking at the new Kaspa ASICs. So there's two of them that we got to cover. I know that Ice River KS0 Pro kind of was released. Same with the Wind Miner. This was about a week ago, but we'll be looking at the ROI and stuff like that. If you should buy it, what's the best price, and just various things like that. So that's mainly what we'll be covering in the live stream. Let's look at profitability as well. So obviously we've got all of these. I don't think you can actually set this. Oh, okay, you can. Here we go. So these are all of the Kaspa ASICs that we have so far. Currently, this is at 12 cents per kilowatt hour. I know in the UK, which is definitely one of the hardest places to be mining right now, there's like the lowest charge is like 26 cents per kilowatt hour, and that basically puts everything out of profitability. Apart from these miners, well, the Jazz miners as well, but mostly Ice River and Jazz miner. Well, obviously the other Kaspa miners as well, like Bitmain and the Wind Miner K9, which we'll be covering today. Most of them are unprofitable. Maybe we would look into getting a Jazz Miner X16P or an X16Q. I did mention this probably about 8 to 9 months ago, the profitability on these. I did say that these were probably the best ASICs to be holding for the future because of the efficiency of them. And that's mainly, you know, what the whole video is about, but I made that quite a while ago. So when we're looking at just strictly Kaspa miners, let's get that back up again. Let's drop this down to, let's just go with 12 cents because I know people don't have 10 cents normally. They would probably have around 12 to 15 cents. Like that's the average, I think, in America, or at least across the whole of the US. But I don't really know who I'm streaming to right now. I don't know what the time is like. It would have been 8 hours behind in America, so it would be 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm assuming this is mainly UK viewers. So, but I'm sure that like American viewers will view it after the fact in, you know, 6 hours or something like that. So if you didn't know, we got two miners in this live stream that we're going to cover. We're going to cover the Wind Miner K9 and we're going to cover the KS0 Pro. So we're looking at ROIs, looking if it's going to be profitable, just stuff like that. So mainly, let's just jump into the Wind Miner and look at the profitability right now. As we can see on Coin Mining Central, they have a video here of them testing out the Wind Miner. They actually got up to, if we scroll through here, that's 11.06 terahash with a power of around 3024. That's for the watts. So if we just take this into a mining calculator, we could do this really quickly. Mining calculator. I know it shows it here, but we'll just verify that, I suppose. Let's look at, because that's, I believe, at 10 terahash, but this one would be at 12.06. And the watts would be 3024, I believe. and that's at 10 cents. So, oh, sorry, that's in mega hash. Need to edit that one out. Go 0600. Is that? Yeah, I believe that's it. That should give us. No? Why is it not showing through here? The revenue. Okay, maybe that is it. No? I believe that would be it in mega hash to terahash. Let me just check it out. Mega hash calculator. Here we go. So we're in terahash, it's 11.06, which is mega hash. Is it 11.06? Let's just scroll back. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so on hash rate NO, paste, click, enter, and the revenue showing here is 155, and then on Mine the ASIC it's 134. So this is obviously updated through different API data. I don't know where Mine the ASIC gets theirs from. I don't know where hashrate NO gets theirs from, but it's showing a profitability of 148, and this is showing profitability of 134. So obviously, depending on difficulty, price of Kaspa coin at the time, there are going to be different varying levels of profitability on this Windminer K9. Now, if we actually check it out on the coinminingcentral.com, we can see it's going for 17,300. So I believe that that's in the UK. So I think the prices will be slightly higher in the UK. Let's go on the Windminer and let's see. If we scroll down, where can you buy it? Miner, ASIC Miner Exchange for $22,000. If we see the price there. So I believe that is, well, actually, if you bought it from Coin Mining Central, it'd be way cheaper when I'm thinking about it in those terms. So maybe it's beneficial to buy it from here. Obviously, not if you're in the UK. Oh, sorry, in the US. But I don't know how much shipping would be over to the US added on top of 17,300. Anyway, it does look like to be the most efficient miner, I believe, if we click on efficiency as well. That is the current efficiency, which is way higher than the Bitmain ones, but I know that you can kind of play around with the power on that as well. And these are not the exact figures, but this is a good percentage more of efficiency than the KS3s at 9.4 terahash and the KS3 at 8.3 terahash. So there's a definite divide in efficiency between the Windminer K9. Obviously, nobody really has it, I don't believe, but Coin Mining Central has it. If we look down here, if we're moving on to the KS0 Pro, the efficiency is 1.167 kilowatt hour per hash. If we scroll down, is there anything under that? So the KS0 Pro is substantially more efficient than the KS3M, KS1, KS2, KS0, but not more efficient than the KS3. So maybe it would be a good buy. I don't believe that I believe the price is $4 to $9. If we just click on Kaspa here, wait for it to update okay, that's showing, well, it doesn't show a price for these. I believe Ice River did put it on their Twitter though, that if we just type in Ice River here, there we go. Is this the official one? Yeah. So it's priced at $429. Sorry, I have the tab open here. $429 in dollars, which I believe costs 110 with shipping. It doesn't really matter where you are in the world, it's just going to cost you 110 with shipping. So That's going to look more like 540 in terms of shipping plus the actual ASIC. And the ROI for that is going to be slightly more if we look at the payback time and we select Kaspa coin. Where is it? Okay, it's not on there, is it? At least I can't see it on there. KM, no. Okay, anyway, if we look at the ROI on, well, let's just say the KS0 right now, because it's nearly the same price, but we can take a couple of days off that, I suppose, because the ROI is mainly looking like, let's actually just go down to it. Let's just find it. Why not? We can do the calculation here. How much is it making per day? It's not really showing either. So wait, 251. Let's just say that it's 251. So it's like 540 divided by 2.51. That gives us around 215 days ROI. Now, the problem with that ROI is that I don't think that it accounts for the amount of Kaspa coin that they'll be receiving after every month of the emission schedule, just because, you know, people wouldn't really put that into the mining calculations, I don't believe. When we actually look at the emission schedule, we bring it up here, we can, not now, and we can actually draw on this. So let's pick red and scroll down to where we are, which is basically here. This is the block reward right now. Sorry, let's erase that and draw again. So this is the block reward right now. 155, I believe. Or is it? No, because this would be in... Sorry, it's at 164 right now, but it will be dropping down to 165 in 3 days, I believe. So 3 days time, it will be dropping down to 165. Sorry, 155. And then if you look every month, obviously it's going to decrease. 146, 138, 130, 123, 116, and then in basically a year's time, it will have dropped by a matter of 2/3 or ish of what the original number was, or slightly more than that actually. It'd be half, maybe 3/8, I guess, if I was actually to put it accurately. It would have dropped by that much, and then it's more than half basically dropped down within a year. So 77 there. We're basically looking at half of the income within a year's time. So the ROI is obviously extended outwards, but it's not based on the price of the ROI that we are actually seeing in the Mine the ASIC dashboard, I guess. Even when looking at all these top Kaspa miners, you wouldn't be able to calculate that out, just because the ROI wouldn't account for the fact that Kaspa could go up or down, or the difficulty on the Kaspa network, obviously with these new miners, or the emission schedule which Kaspa is operating on. But these are bringing in 53 Kaspa per day. The wind miner is bringing in 2,780 per day. So the KS Pro is basically doing double, which is kind of warranted, I guess, because it's 200 gigahash compared to 100 gigahash. I know we had those updates for the Ice River KS0 where you could squeeze a little bit more out of it in terms of hash rate, but I'm sure that will happen for the KS0 Pro as well, so you would be able to squeeze a bit more out. But overall, it doesn't really matter if you can upgrade the firmware, because basically it would mean that there's no way to get ahead in terms of the mining game if everyone updated their firmware. Obviously, all the Ice River holders would be gaining an advantage on the Bitmain miners, just because, well, slash the K9 from Windminer, just because they would be able to get ahead in terms of efficiency and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's a zero-sum gain for everyone else. Just because the hash rate's going to go up, difficulty is going to go up. If everyone updates their miners, then, you know, the hash rate just spikes, difficulty spikes, and you're earning the same amount, in theory, of Kaspa coin. Because there's more difficulty, less coins to be mined. That's, in theory, how it should work. And the same goes for ASIC miners as well. Sorry, not ASIC miners. The same goes for staking coins. This is one of the reasons that staking doesn't particularly work in a, I suppose, kind of bubble. If everyone staked their coins, there would be zero gain for everyone, because everyone would increase the amount of coins on the market, which would further decrease the price of the coin, in theory, because they'd all have the same amount of more coins. The only way that you do get ahead in staking is if you obviously stake the coin. And I'm willing to bet that a lot of people aren't staking their coins, even if they can do it, because a lot of people don't really know too much about cryptocurrency to even get into staking coins. They just, you know, buy a coin, whether it be proof of work or proof of stake, and they just leave it in their wallets. I think that's the large majority of what people, or at least the main demographic of cryptocurrency buyers or holders, would just buy the coin, leave it on an exchange, because it's the easiest way to onboard people to cryptocurrency. Now, in terms of actually buying it, the wind miner, when does it say it's gonna be shipped out now? It doesn't have a shipping date on it. At least I can't see from here. Okay, estimated ship date 15 days. So, I mean, if you bought it now, the ROI would be, if we look here, ROI would be 171 days at the price of Kaspa coin right now, which is actually nearly approaching an all-time high again. If we look here, the all-time high was 52222, and we're basically on nearly 5.2. So we are approaching it. Either it just dips down from here, or it kind of goes past that all-time high, and then we might see 6 cents. Who knows? But for the most part, wind miner, it's probably a great miner. 171 days if we look at the emission schedule from now. So we're here. 171 days is, let's just divide it by 30, would give you 90, 120, 150. That's 5. Around 6 months. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're looking at a reward of 110 Kaspa coin at that point from where you ROI'd, which I guess you can still take that hit, but the ROI is obviously going to go down as the months go on. Oh, it says it there, 5.7 months anyway. I didn't read that, sorry. But that seems to be a good ROI. The KS3M is significantly better. I know Ice River reduced all their prices because the KS0 originally was selling for 800. Now it's selling for 450. And the KS0 Pro is selling for 420 or 430, but technically 540 with shipping. But KS3M is looking like the most quick ROI time, but the profits per day, I don't know if they would be covered still by that. If we're thinking in terms of how much Kaspa coin they would gain. Let's go on to profitability. So output is 2779 right now. That's an average, obviously. If we just assume that there was no difficulty increase, then from the emission schedule, you would take, what number are we at now? 164. Let's just do it here. 164 divided by 110. equals 1.49. Sorry, it's the wrong way around. 64. 0.67 times the let's just go 2,800. 2,800 gives you 1,878. So that's what you'd be making after the ROI, assuming that difficulty doesn't go up. That's how much Kaspa coin you'd be making, which right now, let's just see, 1878. Go 1878. Sorry, that's 15. Is $97. So that's assuming difficulty doesn't up, which obviously it will, because more miners are coming on the network. Let's probably say it's going to be $70 in 6 months, which is still good, assuming also that Kaspa stays at the same price. If it goes up, then obviously you'll ROI quicker on the wind miner. Now, Ice River is probably going to take a while to get to you. The wind miner ships out in 15 days. Ice River ships out on the 15th of November to the 30th, so you can kind of wager guess that you're not going to get it back until December time, or at least it's not going to arrive out until December time for the most part. So you have to basically discount 1 month of the emission schedule again, which is going to be lower Kaspa coin, 155. It could potentially be 146 by the time you get it, which is going to decrease it by from here it would be around 10% basically in the next 2 months. And so this number would obviously, if we go to the KS0, where is it? KS0 down here, this is going to be decreased by 10%. So you can decrease or increase ROI times by 10% as well. And then you have to obviously account for Kaspa coin either going up or down. Now, if Kaspa coin goes up, you've made the right decision. That is it's kind of the decision you have to make on your own. I believe it's probably going to stay around this area. There's obviously two ways it goes. It goes down or it goes up. It's looking like it should go up, just based on it basically staying around this and not exactly peaking to the all-time high again. If we look on the month chart, it's got up there, but as soon as it hits around that all-time high, it gets put down. Same with here, it gets put down. Same with here. Does it get put down again? Even with here, it gets put down. And we've seen this all the time. It keeps hitting this all-time high and then it goes down. All-time high goes down. And the reason for this, obviously, is people are selling at the all-time high of Kaspa coin. That kind of makes sense in economics. Why wouldn't you? And we also did a live stream on MEXC, potentially manipulating the price of Kaspa coin because it has so much volume. They'd want to manipulate it to cash in the perpetuals that they didn't want to give out, basically, so they didn't have to lose money on Kaspa perpetual trading. Anyway, when we are looking at this, I'm going to give it overall. I would say the wind miner K9, the ROI we're probably looking at, it wouldn't be 5.6 months. It probably, if we're just assuming Kaspa coin's price right now stays at around the 5 cents range to 0.45, 0.045, sorry. We're assuming the ROI is going to be around 7 months from now if you bought it today. That's at 12 cents per kilowatt hour. Obviously, as you get up in your power prices, the ROI is obviously going to go down. So we can't really predict that. Now, in the UK, I believe the lowest price you can get is 26. I've done some shopping around for that, and if we look, we can still ROI in pretty much the same time at 26 cents. Sorry, that would be 26 pence, which is around 30 cents. So the ROI is still good, even with high electricity prices, just because the efficiency of all these like Kaspa miners are so efficient. It's weird that they are so efficient in terms of the jump from GPU efficiency as well, because obviously GPUs weren't as efficient on Kaspa Coin, and then ASICs are like extremely efficient, which is probably due to the algorithm, the K heavy hash algorithm that most of the Kaspa ASICs would obviously be specified. Well, all of them would be specified for Kaspa Coin mining, but there's something about the K heavy hash algorithm that allows it to be so efficient, plus producing, good profits. So even if you have high electricity prices around the world, you can still be profitable on any of these miners actually. Even, the Jasminer X16s, they might be a good buy in the future, who knows. This is with ETH, Fair, and ZIL. So what other coins can the Q mine? Can it mine Octa? Octa might be a good play for that as well. Okay, so they're only including this algorithm. That's at let's just say $2 a day. And let's open up a new tab and let's go to hashrate NO. And look at ASICs here. Jasminer X16P. Which one were we looking at? Does anyone know? Revenue. Let's go to profit. Was it the X16? Sorry, I gotta shut most of this down. I don't have a clue what we're looking at right now. X16Q. Okay. And on hashrate NO X16. So there's way more profitable coins out there for the X16Q. Let's look at 30 cents. X16Q is still making $1.18 profit. Sorry, so there's not more profitable coins out there, because if this was at 30 cents per kilowatt hour, so maybe Ether is the best one there. I thought Octaspace would be best for jazz miners, because you can see the Jasminer X4Q is Octaspace, X4Z is Octa, X4QZ Octa. There's no other jazz miners, I don't think, on here listed at least. Who knows? Anyway, they're not really specifically showing Octaspace there either. So power 698 a terahash, noise. Oh, that's actually pretty good noise in terms of decibels. I know that GPU mining creates around 42 decibels or around 40 decibels of noise. ASICs normally get up to 70, 80, which is very, very loud. Vent temperature is 40.4. That's pretty good. So it's showing the daily, monthly, yearly. What is the ROI looking like at 30 cents per kilowatt hour? Is there any? I'm gonna have to go down to the actual website and see the whole thing again. Let's have a look. ROI on the X16Q is at 19 months. Okay, well, obviously that's assuming that cryptocurrency doesn't take off in the next 19 months, which would be around a year and a half from now, which would be 2025. So, I mean, it might be a good investment. It's only 2,900. Let's see where we can actually buy it from. Let's go up. We can buy it from Minershop for 2,900. It's on pre-order. Payback time 47.9 months. Is this? Hold on. No. Maximum hash rate of 1.95. Hash rate here actually shows as 2.09. Obviously, you'd be mining with ZIL, to increase profitability there. I don't know if that would be the most efficient way to mine on Jazz Miner. But if anyone has a Jazz Miner, then please leave a comment and just tell me if it's worth it to be getting into Jazz Miners right now. I probably should have got into it when they were a little bit more priced right, but I assume that that's a pretty fair price right now because it's 2,900, which is pretty good compared to what they were in the past. Let's take this down to 12 like we had earlier. See, profitability is way more at 12. So, yeah, can't really justify buying it at the electricity rates of the UK. The L7s are still doing good as well. The S21 hybrid, I don't know how much that was worth. I think it's worth 10,000 maybe. Okay, the S21 hybrid is not worth 10,000, definitely not. If the S21's worth 2,950. The only problem is Bitcoin miners aren't as efficient as the Kaspa miners, and for the life of me, I can't understand. Well, obviously, I know it's to do with the algorithm, because the Kaspa algorithm is way more efficient than the Bitcoin algorithm, but I think most people are catering towards Kaspa Coin now, even with Ice River. Ice River must have made a fortune from producing the first Kaspa ASIC. Bitmain must have made a lot of money as well. But mainly Ice River definitely earned the most out of the mining companies between Bitmain and Ice River. And the Windminer K9. Where is this actually from, though? Who's actually selling this? The Windminer. So it has been verified by Coin Mining Central. So at least it's a verified product in terms of that sense. Most powerful cash currency miner on the market. See, this is giving me the same vibes that we had from Ice River. It's just like this plain ass website, but obviously Ice River turned out to be a great manufacturer of Kaspa ASICs for us. So leading ultra low power consumption chip achieves high ultra energy efficient ratio created with a great care by the Maya chip team with many years of rich development, stable and reliable, timely and friendly after sales technical support. Doesn't really offer much more. They do have a Twitter account. No? That clearly doesn't work. Let's look here. No, that can't read that either. So definitely I'm just gonna go ahead and say that that is Chinese. Yeah, it's Chinese. Okay, so they're obviously a Chinese company as well, like Ice River. See, that's the main thing. China are producing a bunch of chips, obviously, out there, or at least people are getting a hold of chips out there. And, you know, they're kind of leading right now in terms of the chip manufacturing. Or at least programming them to certain things. Kaspa Coin still at 0.5179. I just don't know. Let's look on MEXC. Let's look at the order book of MEXC. Because that gives us a good kind of average of what we're going to look at. So, a relative amount of liquidity at this price. A relative amount of people wanting to sell at 0.517. Let's just... Sorry, I'm just getting comfortable here. If we click on 0.01, 0.0001, we can see a lot of people are basically wanting to sell at nearly the all-time high. So 0.052. Where are people looking to buy? Mostly down here. 0.05. Let's up it to another decimal place. Okay, now we get a better overview. So you can kind of discount these prices because they're just trading volume right now. But obviously more people wanting to sell than more people wanting to buy. So you can kind of wage the fact that people... This is why it's basically going between these two like price ranges, is just because people want to sell more than they want to buy. It's like simple economics. Otherwise, if this chart was switched and there was more liquidity down here, the price would be going up right now. So we have a lot of people wanting to sell all the way up here. We had 321 plus 210 plus 336, which is around $1 million. And it's gonna go to cover that $1 million. You would have to basically go down to 0.47. So to cover the $1 million, obviously if nobody has liquidity in, obviously there's people trading on different platforms, but for the most part, I don't know if it can, even if it gets past 0.052, it still needs to get through 0.053, which is a ton more, and there's not enough people buying it or wanting to buy it at that price. So it's very annoying to see that, just because it's not going to move between those ranges for a while, I don't think. There's a massive, massive amount of people wanting to sell at 0.059 as well. Like up here. So obviously before it hits 6 cents. And, you know, we just got to get through that. A lot of people still holding out for 0.03 cents, 4 cents even. You know, as we go down, let's just go into another decimal place. And, you know, I'm not really one for technical analysis or anything, but this is just an economical analysis of what we're looking at and how much liquidity is in different places right now. As you can see, people at 0.06, there's 2 million in trading between that range, and there's only 300,000 at the 0.05 range. So, you know, you can kind of just tell that people are wanting to sell through this range and not a lot of people wanting to buy through this range. Still a lot of people waiting out for 0.04, slightly less at 0.03. I don't know why these people are still trying to buy at 0.02 or 0.01. I don't think we're ever going to see down here. We could potentially see into 0.03, as in like 0.039, 38, 37. But that'd be a steal of a price to get it at that point. But mainly, just probably going to be a while before we hit 0.06 again. Now, can we look on the futures? No, I'd have to go on the futures here. Perpetual futures. Perpetual futures set in underlying cryptocurrency. Let's... No, get away, get away, get away, get away, get away. CAS USD perpetual. Let's have a look on the order book. So a lot of people want into, well, this percentage is not really conclusive of anything too much. To be honest, I wouldn't say it's nearly 50%, but it's close. You know, let's open it up a little bit. So let's go to 0.0. And that's expected to see mainly, but the spread is from a lot of people wanting to buy down here, not a lot of people wanting to open up there. Let's keep it at 0.01. Just try to open it as far as we can. Okay, so the shortedness is obviously moving Oh, we can't open it past that. Okay. Well, you know, there's a lot of people wanting to buy in down here still. Like, I'm not one for doing technical analysis or anything, just looking at the perpetuals. MEXC has the gain from this, obviously, from opening perpetuals. And the main way that you basically pay off a perpetual is using the sell-off from the other short that you would put on it, or the long position that you put on it. So you have to cover the losses with the other people's losses and then cover the profits with the other people's profits, if that makes sense. It's strange. I know a lot of people will trade perpetuals, but I'm not into risking it that much. And I'm not into doing technical analysis that much, but just hold Kaspa coin basically. Yeah, so when we're looking at this, just an overall, I'd say Windminer K9, if you bought it today, you'd probably ROI in about 7 months or 8 months, depending on the price of Kaspa coin, if it stays at this price. Plus, there's no new miners on the market. The hash rate wouldn't particularly start climbing too much. In terms of the getting it, it'd be 15 days from now if you bought it. Sitting at around 22,000, that's still a very, very high price. Like, even the S9, well, S21 is at $3,000. I know it's not sufficient, you know, other metrics as well, but this is for Bitcoin mining. If you wanted to see profitability in a longer time frame, maybe Bitcoin miners, who knows? Because look at the price of them. You can buy how many of these? You can buy, well, basically 10 of these. 10 of these for the same price as one of these. No, sorry, it'd be like 7. 7 S21s. That is going to bring in 7 times 4. I don't know what the price of that would be. 21. Is that right? No, 28. $28 per day. Plus the fact that you have a Bitcoin miner, you could probably sell them on for $30,000 in the future, whereas with the Ice Rivers or the Kaspa miners, I don't think you'll be able to sell them as much as, or at least as much as they're worth now. Because, like, let's say you put 22,000 into these and they go up to 25,000, because people will be looking for the most efficient miners, obviously, in the bull run. You're looking at an increase of tenfold on each one of them. So let's just say you gain 22,000 on each of these miners and you bought 7 of them for the price of one of these. You would be 7 times 25,000. I'm not doing that calculation in my head. No, sorry, it'd be 22,000 because you got to discount the price that you bought it for. 154,000. Are you going to make that back on Kaspa coin? Whilst mining Kaspa coin? Who knows? You know, I paid 1.2k for KS0 and now only got $300 back. I overpaid for the KS0. Would have had better to buy only KS0 Pro right now. Yeah, you could have bought 3 KS0 Pros for 1.2k in theory, and you'd have double the efficiency. The ROI would be slightly better than the KS0. It's just an ever-evolving, you know, kind of technology race. And with Bitcoin, in terms of the ASICs, they're not getting as more efficient. You know, they're getting maybe 10-20% more efficiency, if even that. Sorry, let's click on Bitcoin and let's go on efficiency. Okay, efficiency. So that is the efficiency that the S21 hybrid. So this is a, well, we can't really, let's just go with the S21. This efficiency is around 20% more than that, I believe, if you had 14, around 20%, 25. But the efficiency graph of ASICs it's really efficient at the start. Then as technology progresses and you get better chips, there's going to be a limit to how efficient you can push those chips, and we're nearly approaching that limit on a longer time scale in terms of, 20 years or something. The efficiency of silicon can only be improved to a certain extent before you can basically max out efficiency. And we are slowly but surely going to approach that. And the same thing goes with ASICs. You can only push them to a certain efficiency on certain algorithms. This is why people have been very good on Kaspa algorithms, because the algorithm is so efficient. The Bitcoin algorithm isn't as efficient. Plus, the Bitcoin algorithm has way more miners on it. So, this is why you can't have, the you couldn't sustain the Kaspa mining on a, well, if we had all the ASICs right now for Kaspa mining, but the network was the same amount as the Bitcoin network in terms of just terahash, the profitability would be relatively the same as the Bitcoin miners, but the algorithm is more efficient, so you can create chips. Yeah, but I think ASICs are using 12 nanometer and they can go to 2, but in 10 years. Yes, so they are using slightly less nanometers, or slightly more, because I know GPUs, they use like, NVIDIA even will use 6 or 5 even in their chips. But obviously NVIDIA aren't producing ASIC miners, So if we look at the S21, let's go. S21 Bitmain chip. Let's have a look. Does it say what chip they're made on? I don't think it says it on here. I have to go into Bitmain maybe. Can they go down to 2 nanometer? I'm not sure that they... The thing is, it's the price, obviously. They don't want to have, they don't want to pay loads for the chip, because 2 nanometer or even 3, 4 nanometer kind of technology is worth a ton of money. So it's not like you'd want to put those chips into Bitcoin mining, basically. Does it say anything about the chip down here? Networking, miner size, miner length, gross weight, operation storage. No, purchasing guidelines, S prime, shipping, warranty. No, it doesn't say what size chip they're using in these. Anyway, I'm sure that they're higher nanometers than, that NVIDIA are using for their chips. ASIC nanometer chip size. Okay, a wide range of advantages in silicon engineering design based, specifically ASIC FPGAs based node design has progressively advanced towards 7 nanometer or lower. So IBM has a 2 nanometer, but I mean TSMC, which is mainly, I think, where NVIDIA would be trying to get a deal with them. I believe that they secured 4 nanometer chips at some point from them. But yeah, the efficiency to nanometer ratio gets closer as you're obviously approaching smaller, just based on a graph. But anyway, I'm not going to get too technical into that because most people don't have a clue what I'm on about. But the most efficient way, I think, the chips in, well, obviously in the Antminer KS3s, they would relatively be nearly the same chip design as the K9s or the KS3s, because these two are basically nearly the same miner. So the chip design is obviously based on the same architecture at some point. It just depends where they got those chips from. And if Windminer K9 is coming out with a chip as well, I can bet that they all got their chips from the same place. Now, Bitmain, I don't know if Bitmain has a foundry to actually produce chips. Do they? Bitmain partners with foundry to drive traditional... Bitmain... Oh, they do. Okay, so maybe they could produce them, but where did Ice River get their chips from is the real question. Because I'm willing to bet that this K9 company got them from the same place as the Ice River place. Moore's law is dead. Basically, we are approaching possible limit, and it will take longer to reinvent chips, so ASICs could pay off if they survive 10 years. Bitmain has factory. Yes, they do have factory. So where did Ice River and this Windminer company get their chips from is the question that I'm asking. Because these two miners are relatively the same. You could make a very quick distinction if you're just looking at it based off plain facts of the two miners. You could say Ice River got their chips somehow from Bitmain. But they obviously didn't, because Bitmain wouldn't want to give up the chips. I don't know if anyone's opened up an Ice River to see what the chip is inside. I might have to do some looking on YouTube for that. Ice River used their own chip factory. How did Ice River get the funding to open their own chip factory? It's got to be a shoot-off company, because they would have had to put millions of dollars into it, surely, to produce it. I mean, obviously Bitmain, that's a company that's grown. You know, they've grown with Bitcoin mining, they've grown with Ethereum mining and stuff like that. So their process is pretty streamlined to make chips. But Ice River has to have come off a different company that makes chips. There's no way that they were just their own company straight up and they plan to make Kaspa coin chips. You couldn't get that up and running as quickly. And then the Windminer, do they have their own factory? Like, it's crazy. Nope, it is speculation. They actually created their own. They created their own chip. Okay. I'm just wondering how much investment they would have had to create their own chip. Plus, you know, developers, plus producing, testing, all of that. And clearly their own chips are nearly as good as Bitmain's chips. Which leads you to believe that Bitmain and Ice River, you know, are basically approaching the most efficient that they could get for Kaspa coin miners, I believe. Or at least they are both doing the same type of research. I don't know. And then this Windminer K9 company, I don't even, like, I don't know where this came out from. I've seen examples of it, and we checked it out on Twitter. If we just go over here, we can actually see that it's verifiable. If we go on bookmarks, I bookmarked it here. You can see in this video the Windminer K9. It's registering. We got 11.06 terahash. Where is this mining to? Difficulty elapsed. Current fan power. Let's have a look. 63. Not really giving much information, but obviously this is from Coin Mining Central, so they have access to it. They have naming schemes similar, but chips are different from Bitmain. Ice River also said they will create new ASICs for different coins. Okay, so maybe Ice River did just get like a nice chunk of funding, and now they're kind of going into this space and they actually picked definitely the right coin to get into, which is Kaspa coin. And they got in not before Bitmain necessarily, but they definitely shipped out quicker. That's probably why the KS zeros aren't as good, you know, just because they were that's kind of their test model, I suppose, just based on the fact that the heatsink is way different to what they would be in a normal ASIC. Or at least the packaging of it is different to a normal ASIC. I don't know where that they thought that design up from, but it actually works very well when I think about it. Like, it doesn't have to have fans blowing, so well, it does have one in the bottom, but it doesn't have to necessarily have really loud fans blowing just to keep the temperature away. I suppose you could put it outside in the winter. That's what I would do. I'd put it outside, get it more efficient in the winter. Wouldn't really want it heating up in a house because the temperature is not exactly the best. Does anyone know if Ice River said what coins that they'll be getting into next? Because that would be good to know. Anything on their home that they have here? Sale starts. Okay, that's for the KS Pro. There's a plane going over the house right now. Special choices, anything that's not Kaspa here. Instant deployment, visual monitoring, real time. No, I don't think they are. Okay, go on Twitter, let's see. They haven't said anything about what coins they're gonna do. Okay. Well, it's interesting. They have their own factory. They would probably want to go for. I don't think that they can create anything that's going to be way substantially more profitable in terms of creating a chip for a coin. They might as well just stick to Kaspa coin, unless they can really make a breakthrough in terms of the ETH algorithm or Bitcoin mining. I wouldn't really see much coins that they would otherwise go for, unless they want to go for these small algorithm coins. Like, obviously Ironfish is not doing it, but Radiant, Nexa, Lithium, maybe that's their kind of business strategy, is go for small coins. Have you heard about hash blades? Yeah, I did see something about that. We'll check it out in a minute after we've looked through these. So I believe that Dynex allows FPGAs/ASICs, but I don't. That is a whole other kettle of fish, Dynex, because the mining is so, well, not complicated, but to set up an ASIC chip that would be able to do both the proof of useful work and the just the hashing would be pretty much impossible, I believe, because you'd have to have it on the algorithm, strictly on the algorithm. And then how would you convert that computing power? I don't really know. So I don't think Dynex is going to get them for a while. Radiant and Nexa already have it built in their plan to have ASICs and FPGAs. Same with the Lithium that we're seeing down here. So these three coins are probably the next up in terms of mineable coins that will get FPGAs, ASICs. We've already seen some for Radiant, which is like the multi-miner. There's some other ones out there, I believe. So FPGAs definitely coming around these coins. Ironfish obviously switched back, so it's not good to see necessarily. But we'll keep an eye on that, I guess, because they have had a nice price increase since they actually discounted the fact that they were changing the algorithms. Anything else? Kyler Coin has FPGAs. Let's go over to hash rate. I know FPGA is not that bad. They are very limited supply. Yeah, that's the great thing about FPGAs, is that they have such a limited supply that they can't necessarily take over a full network unless the network's extremely profitable on an FPGA. Not a lot of people have them. Not a lot of people have the technical knowledge to set them up. ASICs are plug and play. GPUs are nearly plug and play. FPGAs is probably the hardest to set up between the three mineable options. CPU is kind of the same as GPU in terms of mining. So FPGAs, definitely you need a higher level of knowledge to set them up. So this is why we don't see as many FPGA mining. But if you can get FPGA mining going, you're probably way better off than, you know, GPU miners. Like if you get ahead of the game and you have FPGAs. You can still mine with GPUs if you wanted. Yeah, they don't necessarily take up too much of the hash rate to be unviable. Like there are obviously people out there with loads of FPGAs, like FPGA farms probably, but not in the amount that GPUs are out there. So it would affect the network, but it's not going to affect the network like immensely. So the Superscalar K10, I believe that this is also listed for a lithium. Yeah, so it was, which I have no verifiable information on that. I've tried looking around. All it says is on the website that it can mine a lithium, but I don't believe that right now. We have the TH53, which is the original Kaspa one. Now, they don't actually list any other. That's the annoying thing. They don't list any other coins for these two. I don't believe. Yeah, see, look. The C110 can mine on Ironfish. Kyler coin. This is the main one that people have, is the E300, and I believe it's made out of a TH53 hashboard or TH55 hashboard. Let's just look. It'll tell us here. 35p, so this is basically a TH. Let's go down. Linux, U50C. Okay, so, okay, this is the V35P FPGA. I believe these have the same architecture. Paste. No. Yeah, they do. Same one. Application. Yeah, the same. Right, okay. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go back to what we were looking at. So the E300, and I want to do note that if we go back onto Osprey Electronics, you can actually buy a pretty decent, like, FPGA miner, I suppose. Like, you don't have to fork out loads for the E300. You can just buy one chip, or one board at least, which is interesting, you know. You could just buy the one chip, and then you can buy the things separately. But this is the most, I'd say, utilized FPGA miner that people have been buying lately, because it already sets it up for you in the mining, I believe. So we've got Kyler Coin, Ironfish, Radiant, and Kaspa Coin. None of these, well, it's slightly profitable on Kyler Coin, that's about it. But the ROI is still horrible. Yeah, there's not really much things to go on with FPGAs, but I'm sure in the future when the bull run happens, there will be some profits to be made from them. Hashrate NO still hasn't listed the actual Windminer K9, so if we look on GPU mining, profitabilities are at a all-time low, and we're looking mainly at the 40 series being at the top. 6800 XT, very efficient. Nexus, surprisingly, is up there. Dynex, though, is basically taking up most of the chart. So If you still have GPU mining going, put it on Dynex. Or you could put it on Neoxer, because Neoxer is actually taking off a lot right now, or just play games with Neoxer integrated in. 1660 Ti is still profitable on Radiant, which is crazy to me. 1660 Ti has just notoriously been out there as the most, efficient card to have. Just to keep on to, I guess. Anyway, that's basically what we're looking at in terms of the whole overview of the crypto space. That was a quick live stream just on the ASICs. I will just tell you now, the Windminer K9, probably not the best to buy. I would go, if you have the money available, just buy the S21. Buy 7 of them, put them in a storage container, and sell them for like 20,000 when the Bitcoin bull run comes in, because people will want to buy the miners. KS0 Pro, though, actually very efficient. ROI is not too bad. You got to account for the emission schedule as well of Kaspa Coin, plus the price of Kaspa Coin going up or down. But for $429 is actually a pretty good price when compared to people that bought the KS0, as we saw in the chat, for like, I don't know, 1,200 or 800, 900 or whatever it was worth. So I'd say definitely ISO the KS0 Pro is a good buy right now. I wouldn't say the Windminer K9 is at this price. You might as well buy into S21s and keep them in a storage container. In terms of FPGAs, maybe it's looking like a good investment for FPGAs if you would want to invest in GPU mining or coins that are going to switch from GPU mining to FPGAs, which you could see in the future. But for $500 you can get, well, you can normally, the lowest price I've seen for FPGAs is around $600-700. You can just buy a KS0 Pro for that amount of money and you'd make better ROI and you'd be profitable right now. So that's mainly it for the live stream. If you did enjoy, please, I would wait for the RTX 5000 with GDDR7. Yeah, I would as well. Anyway, if you enjoyed the live stream, please leave a like and make sure just to comment, I guess, on the live stream, just to spread it out, and when people come back to the live stream, they can view it. And I'll see you in the next live stream, probably be live streaming tomorrow or something like that. We'll put a video out tonight, so look out for that as well. Peace.